What do you think about NASDAQ's new fast entry rule? Yeah, it's horrible. They changed the rules just for fucking Elon Musk's bum ass and his stupid ass fake scam his way to $1 trillion company. And now everybody's fucking passive income, everyone's 401ks and shit is gonna automatically buy SpaceX at absurd valuations to just dump on retail. It's crazy. The fact that the NASDAQ folded like a cheap fucking suit to adopt these rules is frustrating. All because they were worried he would list SpaceX elsewhere. Dude, everyone, I don't know. All these things have principles until it comes into contact of the money might go elsewhere.
SpaceX's initial public offering is expected to raise as much as $75 billion, more than double the record-setting.
Dude, what's wild is, so they put out their S1, which is where they list all their financials and their company and what they're doing, and which is required to IPO. And in it, they mention AI like 3,000 plus times. I heard it described as more times than Jesus is mentioned in the Bible. And they mentioned rockets like 1/14 of that. So it's like nominally a rocket company, but all they talk about is AI. And the company had zero AI until Elon forced them to buy Grok recently. So like, it's like this good rocket company with a good business, which is Starlink, and then all this other dog shit tacked on that all loses money. Just to get into specifics so I can break this down, this is SpaceX broken down by segment to segment profitability. These are the three main areas of the business now. Number one is connectivity. That's Starlink. That actually makes money. A respectable $1 billion in profit a quarter. Pretty good. Not a $2 trillion company good, but good. Then there's the space segment, the rockets. It's a very capital intensive business. Obviously, it's building towards a future. Maybe one day they'll be more profitable because they can shuttle things to and from space. They get government contracts. Fine, whatever. It's a money loser attached to that. Starlink subsidizes this. And this was the whole business for the longest time. And then Elon Musk used the company to bail out Grok. And now they have this tumor on the business, this minus $2.5 billion a quarter money losing disaster that is X, the social media platform that can't get ads, and Grok, which is massive data center expenses for a platform that isn't even growing or popular. And so this massive AI tumor has dragged the company into negative profitability right as it's going public at a valuation that's extreme. I just want to kind of summarize the math here before I get back to the video. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying when I talk about Grok being such a pain on people that really were excited about SpaceX?
Elon long had said that he didn't really plan on taking SpaceX public.
Wait, Elon lied? That's a shocker. By the way, I'm saying it now, as I've said a million times, once this company is public, they're gonna merge it with Tesla to bail out Tesla and get it to the fucking $1 trillion market cap increase so he gets his $1 trillion pay package.
Traditionally, an IPO, or initial public offering, was a primary way for companies to raise money.
Yeah.
Going public was also a badge of honor. But today, companies have all kinds of access to capital to fund their early growth.
This is a huge...
All the growth is happening in private markets now. By the time they go public, they're already so fucking big that you're taking a bet they have to 10x from there. Like when Facebook went public, it was like a few $1 billion of value. And that's one of the bigger IPOs ever. And now it's $1 trillion company. So all that growth you got to have as an investor, as a public investor. When Amazon went public, it was tiny. When Google went public, it was tiny. And if you invested in it as part of the public, you would gain all that appreciation as it became $1 trillion company. But now all the growth is happening in the private sphere, and then it goes public, dumping at the end when it's already $2 trillion.
Looking at major tech stocks, investors value Tesla and Nvidia at roughly 15 times their annual revenue. They look like bargains compared to SpaceX and its price to sales ratio of 87 times.
And it's funny because on a normal chart, Tesla, it looks insane. On a normal chart, like we've done Tesla's like, is pretty fucking crazy how out there it is. Tesla's like, so much of it is not the revenue they currently have, but what they hope to have. And SpaceX is so much more extreme. This should not be a $2 trillion company. It doesn't make any sense.
SpaceX today is a very different company than the SpaceX that was founded more than 20 years ago. It is the largest satellite operator in the entire world with its Starlink constellation.
Like if this was like a 500, maybe a $400 billion company and it had none of the extra shit attached, just the Starlink and the rockets, it would be a pretty cool investment. It's like well-priced. It has growth. It's clearly a leader in its field, but instead it's this massively overpriced, overbloated thing with this massive money-losing Grok Twitter arm attached to it. It just makes it a horrible investment for public investors.
All of these ambitious IPO-related programs all rely on Starship, and it's probably the most ambitious vehicle that's ever been conceived for spaceflight. It's meant to be fully reusable. That makes it extremely complicated, and its development process has been
rockets are cool.
kind of rocky in order to get there.
Sheesh.
This is a rocket that last time exploded on the pad, so like...
Do you think do you think Elon Musk snuck into Jeff Bezos' rocket launch and planted a detonator on it so that he wasn't the only one with a rocket blowing up at launch? I'm just wondering if, or he got Biden to do it like the pipeline.
This concept of using space as, this new real estate for putting AI data centers, that seemed to be the game changer that got Elon thinking, okay, now might be the time to actually go public.
I'm taking the under. I know. Someone will tell me how it's gonna happen. The guy can't keep his promises on Earth. You know what I'm saying? The timelines and the delays have been dragging on for like relatively basic Earth projects compared to fucking data centers in space. We have so many data centers in the real world that haven't broken ground or can't get open. Most GPUs purchased are in warehouses right now. They can't even be used because they don't have the power to connect or hook up data centers in the real world. They can't break ground. We've had like a few small data centers open in America, and they already have huge political pushback. The idea that we're going to open up data centers in space in any near term, it's not realistic.
An important aspect of SpaceX's
the Roadster
IPO
isn't even
will
out.
be its inclusion in the NASDAQ 100 index.
We have these big...
Here's the thing, is all this wouldn't matter if it wasn't for this. This is the important part, because at the end of the day, if it's Elon Glazers losing money or people getting fooled, it's like, whatever, you made your choice, you bought it. But because he is getting the rules changed so that people's retirement accounts have to buy this thing immediately, instead of delaying a full year like they normally have to do, that is the fucked up part. Getting it automatically included into the indexes is...
Indexes, like the S&P 500, it tracks the biggest 500 companies in the US, or the NASDAQ 100, which is the biggest tech companies. Many companies, or dare I say all, would like to be added to them because it means millions and millions of dollars of passive funds.
And everyone's retirement passively buys these, and it buys them at the valuation. It buys more in accordance to your market cap. So if you're a $2 trillion company, a lot of people's retirement is going directly into your to buying your stock. And this is the fucked up part. And this is not normal. This is only happening with this SpaceX IPO. He got the rules changed.
Inclusion in the NASDAQ 100 or S&P 500 used to be a lengthy process. But now, since many companies going public are already giant, the rules are getting bent.
The old playbook was that you go public, you undergo a seasoning period, you prove your profitability, your liquidity, and then maybe...
By the way, there used to be a profitability rule. You'd have to be profitable to get listed because you wanted to have profitable companies. That's also gone. SpaceX's last quarter was not profitable. Who enforces that rule? These are private businesses, the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. They get to choose who gets listed. They have rules and regulations, but they've gotten rid of them.
Despite the warning signs, many are wary of underestimating Elon Musk.
He's really built an entire brand on turning science fiction into reality. And investors are willing to bet that even if he doesn't deliver on the timeline, some of these ambitions like orbital data centers or building a colony on Mars...
They're not even betting on that, bro. They're betting on the fact that he is good at pumping the stock. That's what they're betting on. At the end of the day, they're going, hey, listen, I've seen you make number go up in the past. I want number go up. That's it. The fundamentals are out the window. They're definitely not convinced that he's going to make data centers in space a real... They're more convinced that he's going to sell the idea of data centers in space to someone else, that he's going to like get people excited about it.
When you shift to a public company, your focus becomes more on short-term profits and how you're maximizing those profits for your shareholders. When it comes to space...
I mean, that's not really true for this company because Elon Musk has a dual-class voting share system where his shares in SpaceX have 10x the voting power. So even if he's selling some to the public, they can never acquire enough to outvote him. He could have 10% of the company or whatever. He'd have more votes than everybody else. He's not necessarily beholden to the short-term whims of people asking for profit. It's more like he has said many, many times that he didn't want SpaceX to go public. He preferred it private. He liked the control. He liked to not have to worry about public markets and disclosures and everything. And so the reason he's doing it now seems to be obvious, which is that he wants to dump this thing at a huge valuation on retail and make a bunch of money. If it's a profitable, well-run private company, why do this? It's this peak hype, peak mania valuation. The stock markets are super frothy right now. And it's like he wants to jump in while the iron's hot, be the first big IPO and get a bunch of retail money, especially because you just saddled this company with this hugely unprofitable Grok Twitter package. You spent billions, 250 billion or something, on adding Grok to this company and bailing out the Saudi investors that help you buy it. And now that's getting dumped on retail.
Please.
So will SpaceX be a large part of the S&P 500 as a result? Yes. We can check right now. Here we go. Look, this is the S&P 500 holdings by weight. NVIDIA, if you're buying the S&P 500, is 7.5% of your holdings. That's just NVIDIA. One company is 7.5%. SpaceX would be bigger than Tesla. It's like right around here. So about 3% of everyone's retirement in the S&P 500 is going to go directly into SpaceX. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Instantly. And then on the NASDAQ, it's even more extreme because the NASDAQ's only 100 companies. It's more tilted to these big mega caps. And yeah, and it goes into the peak valuation. One last thing I'll say is that, I've kind of explained this before, but worth explaining again, just so you understand. I used the Charizard example. Let's say you owned every Charizard. You've got them all in your garage. There's 100 Charizards in the world, and you have all 100 in your garage. Let's say you list just one for sale. Well, there's only one for sale, so the bid is crazy. Everyone's like, oh my God, finally a Charizard's available. The bid is insane. And so the price gets super skyrocketed up. And then you go and say, okay, well, this sold for $1 million. Well, I have 100 of these, so I have $100 million valuation. That's how much I have. Even though if you were to list them all at once, the price would be a lot lower. The bid would be a lot lower. If there was 100 available, there would be more demand, it would be less scarce, it would be lower. So what they're doing with SpaceX is they're only listing a small amount of the shares, like 5%, a very small amount of the float. This is, again, one of the rule changes. So they're listing such a few amount of stocks. So when the Elon Glazers and the people that are interested in space and the passive investors all buy in, they're bidding up a small amount of shares to a very large price to justify this massive $2 trillion valuation. And then he's saying that all the other shares are worth this amount. But if they were all listed, the price would be a lot lower. How do you change the rules? So there's a benefit for the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange to having a big company list on them. And so he played them against each other. He basically said, NASDAQ, if you don't change the rules, I'm not going to list with you. I'll list somewhere else. And they really wanted this big SpaceX IPO. It's big, fucking buzzy. And so he played them against each other to get the rules bent. That's what happened. So yeah, I do think this is a big story. I know a lot of people have covered it. I think it's worth mentioning in case you didn't see one of those stories and only watch Big A or whatever, but I think it's a big story. I think what Elon's doing is pretty scummy. And I think if valuations ever normalize to more realistic levels, the SpaceX is going to be a huge hit to a lot of people's retirement. I think if that was ever valued even somewhat normally, people are going to lose a lot of money. And it's like, he just dumped it on them. Is this able to be abused by anyone without the reach and influence of someone like Elon? I mean, the Anthropic and OpenAI are kind of doing the same thing. There's a big 3 companies this year that are all doing crazy, fast-moving IPOs and trying to make sure they're very quickly automatically bought by everyone's retirement. IPOing before is a way to dump on retail, but you still have to convince them. You have to get them all hyped about it and make sure they want to buy in at a high valuation. But now they're just making it so that it's automatically bought by everyone's retirement. And that's where the real juice is. Isn't it all make-believe anyways? I hate to knock this line of thought because on some level, it is all kind of like esoteric. And for most people in the regular day-to-day life, it's like, I don't need to know this shit. And I get that. Sometimes I feel like people say this when it's like, I can't be bothered to learn some of these terms or try to figure out what's going on. So I'm just going to say it's all make-believe. And it's like, it's not. Like, it is real. It is real people's money being allocated in real ways on real words, real rules.